back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys, so I am here today to do a super exciting video. First up, I want to reveal to you a cover which is a super stunning cover for a very exciting sounding book. And then I actually have the author joining me on the channel to tell you a little bit about the book and their work generally. And then at the end of the video, there is a giveaway, which is actually a two-part giveaway. There is a chance for an international winner to receive an ebook version of the book. And then there is a chance for a US-based winner to receive a trade paperback version of the hardback, which will be kind of like an advanced reader copy closer to publication time. So there are two chances for you to win this book, and I'm sure you'll agree after I tell you a little bit about it that it sounds exciting and wonderful. So thank you very much to the publisher for working with me to do this giveaway, and then also to the author, RB, who is fantastic and is super exciting and bringing out this really, really cool sounding book. I cannot wait to get my hands on a copy. So first up, I want to reveal to you the actual cover of this book before I start talking about it. And as you can see, it is beautiful. It's a really lovely design. I really enjoy the artwork. I think it's really evocative and it just has that really nice kind of intense tone that draws you in. I think it definitely seems like it's going to fit the tone of the novel, and I'm excited to just talk to you guys about this book. But I think rather than me sitting here and discussing it with you, it probably makes more sense for RB, the author, to actually tell you about it. So I'm going to hand over to RB, who will let you know some of the details about themselves and also about the book. So over to you.
Hello everyone, hello Kitty G YouTube channel. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I'm RB Lemberg and I'm the author of Birdverse novels, stories and poems, as well as doodles, divination cards and what have you. Birdverse is my secondary world, fantasy in which I've been writing for a really long time, and it's been from the get-go an LGBTQIA-centric world. And I am releasing a new novel this year. It's called The Unbalancing, and it's basically my queer Atlantis novel that features some of my favorite people, including a non-binary, aromantic and asexual ancestral ghost, and their poet mentee, who is a non-binary demisexual lover of fruit trees, and their love interest, who is a woman, a queer woman ruler, who's very brisk and awesome and loves cats. So I hope that you enjoy this novel, and thank you so much for having me.
So I'm sure you'll all agree that genuinely sounds fantastic, and if you are not entirely sold yet, then I will actually let RB do a reading for you from the book, and you will see hopefully why you should pick this one up when it comes out. I believe it's coming out late this year, definitely 2022, but I think around September time is the release date. And if you can't wait to get your hands on a copy till then, remember there is a giveaway for early access to the ebook or to a trade paperback version of the hardback at the end of this video.
I'm going to read a little bit from this book, and I'll read from the very beginning. It's really exciting and scary for me because this is the first public reading I'm going to do from the finished book, and I don't even have an ARC yet of this book. I have an ebook, but I don't have a print ARC, so you'll be the first to hear from this. And this is from the very beginning of the novel, from the viewpoint of Lilun, who is a poet. When I first came to Sembery's hill, it was frizzed in fog, soft and wispy like ghost breath. The hill was just off the harbor to the north, down a path overlooking the sea. The islands were small enough that I thought I knew every curve and stone here, but I had never seen this place before. I stood waiting for something. I did not know what. A shimmer and an ending. But the hill continued to stand. Soon enough, the cool breeze pushed the fog aside to reveal a path leading up. Upon the bluish-green hill grew an ancient quince grove, a company of short, gnarled trees, their arms laden with spring blossom. The air was brisk that morning, and I huddled in my woolen knit vest, my skin clammy with sweat that had cooled in the wind. The boughs of the trees on the hill swayed with the motions of air, the petals rustled and clung to each other, and no other sound could be heard but my own labored breathing, harsh like words that demand to be written down right away. A poem about the deeds of creation, the goddess bird descending towards the land with the 12 magical stars in her tail. I had forgotten to bring my notebook. I went up and up. All the fruit trees here were quince. I had seen such trees in town, growing alongside the more plentiful apples and pears, but they had all looked younger. Here, the knobbly quince trees stood side by side, an old guard protecting each other, still fertile, still blossoming. They did need a good pruning. Later that day, I met Zamberi. That was a year ago. I came here almost daily now, often with my pruning shears and my trowel stuffed in the pockets of the same woolen vest, now more tattered for the wear. But this morning there was an urgency in my step. Just before dawnbreak, the islands had quaked, knocking me right out of bed. I had been dreaming, I think, of the star of the tides, the desperate blue presence under the wave, contracting and expanding. A scream. I wasn't sure if it was me who shouted. A few books fell off the shelf. An earthenware cup of water cracked by the bedside. I barely remembered to pull on a pair of pants before running east through the streets of Gelgel. Instead of turning south towards the harbor, I headed north on the narrow, now familiar path to Samberi's hill. To the east was the angry sea, all muttering water and spittle of foam. I looked up at the grove. The trees were still standing. Now that I was here, I wanted to stay at the foot of the hill, postponing any actions or conversations, simply to listen. I heard my own strained breathing, and beyond it the sea, lapping anxiously, incessantly on the moss-laden stones below. The hill itself, in my mind, was grasped from within by the roots, the invisible, deep, endless roots of the fruit trees. If the roots could speak, I would come here with my notebook and write down the words and perform that as poetry. A small notebook was, in fact, in my pocket. I had a habit of stashing them in every piece of clothing. But I needed to check on Samberi, and so with a sigh I climbed up the hill to the grove. There was nobody there. I stood for a while, waving my arms just slightly in the air, as if I was a tree among others. The earthquake had passed, but the roots of the trees felt shaken, like limbs taken to tremor long after a heart murmur settles. Some of the branches lay broken, but most of the quince trees made it through the night unharmed. After a while I crouched. It was always a visceral relief to touch the soil here with my fingers. I inhaled deeply, anchoring myself in the wet smell of the earth and the delicate, sweet perfume of the quince. Many of the trees still held on to their blossoms, defiant, like me. At last a semblance of peace settled in my body. I closed my eyes and called on the magic of my deep names. With an effort of will, I focused my magic on the trees and traced the root's journey into the earth. Not good. The earthquake was over, but the disturbance itself continued. It came from far below the ground, from the southeastern direction. I turned that way. The curve of the hill here obscured the sea, but I knew what was there. A vast expanse of water, and in it the star of the tides, tossing and turning in its restless sleep. With my magical senses extended, I perceived the star in my mind's eye as a mass of azure, deep within the blue of the wave, a tangle of magical deep names as wide as the isles themselves. The star of the tides, the sputtering star, the unquiet sleeper, all the names we had given it over the last 1,000 years. The star was settled to the archipelago, to the mother mountain at the heart of this island, our largest island, Gyu. 1,000 years ago, it was Samberi who had brought the star to the archipelago and cast it into the wave. "You should reach out and touch the star," a familiar voice behind me said. "Extend your deep names and reach." "You're alive, thank bird," I thought, or not alive, but something, not gone. I exhaled in with that relief came well-practiced annoyance. "Why must you always sneak up on me?" Still crouching, I turned to face the speaker. My ancestor, Samberi, or more precisely, their ghost, as tattered and intricate as a latticework of foam, floated under the flowering quince tree. They did not look worse for the wear after the earthquake, and I did not care to find out what worse would look like on them. I'm just really glad you're safe. I didn't speak that. After a while, I settled on, I will not reach out. In the years since we'd first met, I must have refused them 60 times. The star is asleep, Semberi, and I will not bother it, no more than I would disturb your own sleep. Semberi moved this way and that as if in the wind. There was no wind. You do not want to disturb the star, but it disturbs you. There's barely a year left. The islands rattle while it screams and tosses. Don't tell me you don't care, not after you ran all the way here in pajamas. These aren't... I took a look at myself, and sure, I had my day pants on, but also my sleeping top embroidered with very small cats. I opened my mouth to produce I had dressed in the dark, then closed it. I squinted at Semberi's subtly quivering form, through which the thickest of bows were visible. You critique my dress, but you yourself were nothing but air. I'm a ghost, Semberi replied sagely. Why would I wear pajamas? Something occurred to me. Do you even sleep? No, they said. I'm sorry. They shrugged away my meaningless apology. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.
That is an overview, a little reading from the book. I hope you'll all agree it sounds amazing. It's definitely a book I am keen to get myself. But if you want to win, please listen up, because now is your chance. As I said, there are 2 chances. So there is an international giveaway and there is also a US-based giveaway. If you are international, please write in your comment that you are an international entrant, just so that it's really clear. If you're in the US, please put that you are in the US. I will be announcing the winner of this competition, either the international and the US, on the 11th of March. And I will do a random generator for all the entries to pick those winners, and I will announce it on the community tab on YouTube, and I will also directly contact the winners. I will then put you in contact with the publisher, and the publisher will supply the ebook or the paperback ARC copy closer to release, because they're not quite ready yet, but the ebook will be ready in the next few weeks and the paperback ARC copy should be ready around May time. So very exciting. So yes, in order to enter, please leave where you're based, whether you're international or US, and leave me a comment about the book and why you're excited to read it. I would love to have your thoughts and opinions on the cover and also just generally on the book. I'm sure you'll all agree it sounds awesome and I can't wait to get to it myself. Thank you again to the publisher and to RB for joining in with this video and for hosting this giveaway. I'm really excited to get back into doing giveaways on the channel. It's been a little while, but I love doing them. I love giving back to you guys and getting you involved with some of the books that I am really excited about, and this is definitely one of them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye everyone!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.